Good afternoon and welcome to another Zionsville High School football game as the Eagles were delayed, actually postponed from last night to this morning or this afternoon here at Zionsville Stadium. Lafayette Harrison, the Raiders, had to take the bus back home last night and wake up early and come back for the game. So we're going to get kickoff in. We were a little late coming into the broadcast, had some technical difficulties, but Zionsville just now kicks off, and it's fielded by Harrison inside the 10-yard line. And the return is out to about the 21, and the Harrison offense will take over. Alex coming in quickly here. Harrison, they've had a rough season, 0-5, I believe, right now. And how do you see this game going today?
Well, I think this is going to be a one-sided affair. Zionsville's coming in kind of hot. After last week, they beat a pretty decent Westfield team. I say pretty decent, I mean very good Westfield team. This game is all about, for Lafayette Harrison, is all about controlling the line of scrimmage. They're a very undersized group, and if they can control the line of scrimmage and allow their running backs to get some open space, they'll be all right. It's going to be very windy today, so I don't expect a lot of passing by either side. And as this first play kicks off, Zionsville's right up in the grill of the running back. So, on 1st and 10,
Scott Panola made that play in the backfield, so that'll be a loss of a yard for Harrison on first down.
Absolutely. And we'll try to get you the starting lineups as soon as we can. First play was about a loss of 1 yard, and we'll see how Harrison's going to attack this Zionsville defense. Pretty strong last week. Westfield was in Zionsville's territory almost every time they started with the ball in the first half, and they only allowed 10 points in the first half last week. And we'll see what they can do here against Harrison.
And a sprint pass here to the left and quarterback today is number Jake Lackey. We have cleanup time last year. A big loss to Zionsville. Harrison comes into the game. Their last 3 contests scored 6-12. Certainly not the season. Harrison, like Alex said, coming in, they're very more than not, they're outmatched on the interior of the offense. 3rd and long, and had him over. Last was in 1. That's the Alex. He could have on there, but
it was could have been caught. It was a little short armed, and this is the area where Harrison has to take advantage. They have their back, which means they're going to be able to throw the ball, as well as they can in this win. So they have to do something with the win at their back, or else, Zionsville's going to have the wins at their back and be able to throw pretty much all over them. As we get out here, it looks like
it was
oh boy.
The punter there had some pressure, so he decided not to try to kick it away, and Harrison will turn the ball over at their own 10-yard line, so Zionsville's offense will have a very short field to work with. As Alex was saying, pretty large gusts of wind out here today and moving one direction down the field, so Zionsville will be into the wind, but the ball's placed at the Harrison 15, and so not much room for the Harrison defense to work with here. And the I formation for Zionsville, Colton Smith. No, I'm sorry. That's Cole Went, the tailback. Wisniewski, the fullback, actually gets the handoff for about a 3-yard gain.
And that was a very good stop by number 43 for Harrison. Excuse me while I get that number. That looks like, or the name, I'm sorry. That's Cameron Green, a sophomore, 6 foot, 185 pounds. He's listed as a tight end, but is playing some defense right now. But that was a good play by him, and Zionsville only got about 2 or 3 yards right there.
So it'll be 2nd and about 7 or 8 for Zionsville here. I formation once again. This time they show twins, and they'll have John Nomchef in motion to the bottom of your screen. The pitch is to Cole Went. He tries to find some running room, doesn't get much, maybe about another 3 yards, which will bring up 3rd and 5 for Zionsville.
But immediately, Zionsville's able to try to run the ball, and the biggest thing last week for Zionsville that got them into some trouble against Westfield, because Westfield was a very good defensive team and was very sound technique-wise, but Zionsville was not able to get themselves in 3rd down and manageable yardage to get first downs, and here they're already in a 3rd and 5, which is a lot better than 3rd and 10 and 3rd and 11, which is what they averaged last week. And Zionsville,
boot here for Parker Dunshee. He's got Wisniewski, and that's good for a 10-yard touchdown. So Zionsville first to strike here in this afternoon contest. And Zionsville takes a 6-0 lead pending the extra point. Alex, as you were saying before the game, we might see a different kicker than usual today because I know they have a tendency to use soccer players sometimes, and they might have a game today. So
it looks like Christian Schmidt,
which we've seen him before.
Yeah, number 98, but he doesn't usually do the kicks. I think it's usually number 95, Jack Ryder, or oftentimes I think maybe Jake Watkins.
I think it is of note that Parker Dunshee was actually kicking off from the tee before the game, so they may use him here on the kickoff, and he has the tee in hand, so let's see. Yeah, I think they're going to use his leg on kickoffs today.
Yeah, and the first kick that he did today was more of a squib-type kick where he just kept it on a lone line drive, not really allowing the Harrison return men to get a decent return there. But, very good execution by Zionsville, even with the wind in their face. They kept it to short routes and was able to do a very nice play-action fake boot to the left and found Wisniewski open for his first read and a touchdown. So Zionsville, as we expected, a quick lead, 7-0 against this very much struggling Harrison team here.
Yeah, to wrap it up, we've already had a lot of action in the first 2.5 minutes of this game. Harrison received the ball, went 3 and out, turned the ball over after a failed punt deep inside their own territory. Zionsville 3 plays later, a pass from quarterback Parker Dunshee to the fullback Stephen Wisniewski for a 10-yard touchdown. So a quick 7-0 lead, and the kick is a squib, but it actually gets past the up back, so that'll be a touchback, and Harrison will start at their own 20.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole point of trying to do a squib kick is just kind of drive it deep and let it bounce away from the return man, and Harrison. Zionsville has enough confidence in their defense that Harrison can start at Zionsville's are at their own 20 and not have too much success making it into Zionsville's territory. I expect this to be such a lopsided game. I wouldn't really expect too many times that Harrison will make a trip into Zionsville's territory if they can take care of the ball.
And there's a penalty thrown before Harrison can get the snap off, so it's going to be on the offense. False start is called. That'll back the Raiders up 5 yards. And Alex, when you're already outmatched, I mean, the one thing you have to avoid is, hurting yourself, especially through penalties. And, 1st and 10 is going to be hard enough here for Harrison today. 1st and 15 does not make it any easier on them.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we talked about, Zionsville is much bigger up on the front line in the trenches. And, as you were saying, they're going to have a hard enough time moving forward progress against this Zionsville team, let alone having to hurt themselves and have to do even more. So, we'll see what they can do here. But
a little sweep action, and that's stopped right at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Having trouble picking out just one tackler there. It looked like we had everyone in on that one.
Yeah, and you just kind of get the implication early that this Harrison team is just not really wanting to be here. It's Saturday, and last night the weather was pretty crummy. They had to make that hour and 10-minute hike down here last night, and like you said earlier, I had to wake up and get an early breakfast, and instead of watching film of last night's game, they have to play a whole game. So it's kind of more of a college feel of how the scheduling goes.
Yeah, college games are already underway today. And that'll be a quarterback sack. Ring it up for number 48, Zionsville. That's Riley Pokerchev.
That's that last name.
Yeah, that's the last name. I'm going to make it a point to go meet him sometime this year, or his parents, and figure out how to pronounce that last name.
I'm going to write it down like a dictionary and have the actual breakup of the syllables and see how you say it.
I call him Riley P.
Yeah, Riley P works. Or Riley Pro.
Yeah, there you go. We have 4 wide receivers in the spread shotgun formation here for Harrison. 3rd and 16. The pass is thrown. That's another missed opportunity. That was also intended for number 1, Gavin Haltom, as it was on the last drive, and he makes that catch. That's good for a first down. So
maybe more because he could have beat that safety. It looked like Woodard slipped when he was trying to funnel. They were in a cover 2 shell, and the safety wasn't able to get over there as quick as he needed to, and And yeah, like you said, just to air it, throw a little short and outside and just miss the receiver.
Another punt. We'll see if they can get it away this time. Barely. Namchev's going to get a chance. Now he's going to let it roll out of bounds right about at the 50. And Zionsville will take over actually at the Harrison 49. So both drives for Zionsville starting in Harrison territory. The Eagles winning the field position battle here early, up 7-0 with 8 minutes left in the first quarter.
And you just kind of have that feeling that this game could get out of hand pretty quickly. You know, only 4 minutes have gone by in this game, and it's 7-0, and Zionsville's going to have the ball again. So, you know, hopefully we can make this somewhat of a good, decent football game.
I have a feeling that we're going to see either a defensive or a special teams touchdown today. I don't think we've seen one yet in all of our broadcasts this year, have we? For Zionsville?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think we've seen a defensive or special teams touchdown.
Well, no, I take that back because Scott Panola did have a interception for a touchdown earlier in the year, I think against McCutcheon.
All right. Cole went there with a run up the middle, a lot of running room, gets about 14 yards on the carry, good for a Zionsville first down. Yeah, I actually, now that you mention it, I remember that interception. But
it was when Marincic went out and the younger quarterback went in there and just kind of got rattled and then kind of threw it right to Scotty's able to walk in for a touchdown. But
yeah, Scott Panola's had a really nice season.
He sure has.
Thus far. Hopefully it continues. I mean, I have formation here for Zionsville. And the handoff to Cole Wynn again, looking for room to run. He's found it. And he bangs forward for about 9 yards. Going back to what I was saying, as far as progression throughout the year, I think that's maybe an underrated aspect of football that not a lot of people talk about is, you obviously have the two-a-days, you have the summer conditioning, but there's a lot of room for improvement and progression throughout the season. I mean, each week, players need to get better, and there's a lot of good quality practice time you can have during the week to get better. So I only see Scott and some of the other guys on the team, the big playmakers, just continuing to grow as the season moves along. And Carson Kennedy gets a pass in the flats, had a lot of room to run, couldn't beat the defensive back. Nice open field tackle there by number 11 for Harrison. That's Dresden Johnson. He's listed as a 6'1", 180-pound junior defensive back for the Harrison Raiders.
Yeah, and that was a very good play-action fake once again by Parker Dunshee and was able to find Carson Kennedy in the flat as his first read. And, there was a man that was right on Parker Dunshee, and I didn't get to see who it was, but, Parker smartly was able to throw the ball over the defender and make a completion, and Zionsville's moving the ball already inside the red zone almost.
Avery Boxall, the receiver, to the top of your screen. Namchef here to the bottom. Namchef moves in motion, so he'll go out with Boxall, and the handoff is to Cole Went with a lot of room to run. That's good for an 8-yard first down carry. And Alex, he's getting 5 yards before he even sees a defender. So nice job up front by the offensive line, and that's what we were looking for.
Yeah, Zionsville's pretty much able to enforce their will on this front line of West Lafayette Harrison. Zionsville's line, I think all year has against weaker teams has looked very dominant, but then against those other good teams like Hamilton Southeastern and Westfield, not as successful. And it's hard to play a kind of schedule to where you don't have solid teams that you're playing every single week. Sometimes you slip in technique, get a little lazy on how you play, and that can carry over into next week. So it'll be interesting to see after this game how Zionsville can go out and practice next week and have success.
Cole Went just carried the ball up the middle for a 3-yard gain and a first down. So it's first and goal for the Eagles at their own, or at the Harrison 7-yard line, looking to add to this lead. They lead 7-0 as of right now, about halfway through the first quarter. And we see the I formation again. Chris Mason checked in the game for Avery Boxall. Namchef, we've seen Namchef in motion a lot tonight. And the handoff, I couldn't tell. Yeah. Colton Smith gets down near the goal line, about the 2-yard line, and Cole Went checks back in.
And I do believe Cole Went has still yet to find the end zone. He started every single game this year for Zionsville, but it just hasn't had an opportunity to get into the end zone. They'd like to give the ball to Wisniewski, and I think Panola has gotten a couple carries, and even Colton Smith. But let's see if they go back to him and let him punch one in for his first touchdown this year.
Yeah, Cole's in the game. I can't see them trying to throw the ball right here. And the handoff goes to Cole with a lot of room to just walk in the end zone. And that's a Zionsville touchdown. 4:33 remaining in the first quarter. Eagles looking to go up 14-0. And Alex, as we talked about earlier, this game, we were up here in the press box last night, and it was a delay that eventually got postponed, and the game was played. We actually went through a similar situation our senior year here at Zionsville against Webo, Western Boone, where we came back on the Saturday afternoon, and it is a weird, pretty strange feeling. You don't quite get the atmosphere of a Friday night. And I think a lot of times kids, especially this age, kind of feed off of that. They have their friends in the crowd, friends, families. Just playing in front of a big crowd is always a little more exciting. So I think Zionsville brought a lot out here, but, understandably, Harrison, you couldn't really make the trip twice. A lot of them drove down from Lafayette last night, but
they still have a decent crowd, though. A lot of parents are still here, But, like you were saying, it is hard. It's a complete schedule change. Instead of getting done with the game on Friday night and going have fun with your friends, you kind of have to get a good night's sleep and go to bed earlier and have to wake up. And the biggest thing to me was having to play in the daylight. Having an actual game when it's daylight instead of in the dark with the lights. So, there is a lot of change with that. And that weather last night was pretty horrific. There was a lot of wind, I think some hail, and
a lot of hail.
So I understand why they didn't play the game, but as a player, and I think all the coaches and even a lot of the staff here, props to them for making the trip and being out here today.
Another squib kick by Parker Dunchie, takes a hop and is fielded at about the 10-yard line, and a pretty decent return as no one can bring down the returner until he reaches the 30. Who was that? That was number 15 for Harrison. That looks like Cole Smith. That was a very nice return as he drug some Zionsville defenders.
I can see that getting a little confusing today. That guy's name is Cole Smith. We have a Cole Went on Zionsville's team and a Colton Smith. So, Cole Smith.
Yeah, forgive us ahead of time if we miss some of those calls.
Yeah, he could easily become a running back for Zionsville sometime this game.
First down, Harrison, shotgun, looks downfield, pressure comes, and he eludes it. Actually, a pretty nifty little play there by the quarterback. Couldn't complete the pass. The quick rush there, coming in with his hands up, was number 40, Noah Rogers, the defensive end for Zionsville. And a nice job there by the quarterback for Harrison. That was Jake Lasky as he kind of pump faked and got the defender up in the air and was able to buy himself a little more time.
It was a very nice athletic play. The pocket broke down. He was able to scramble to the left and just overthrew Nick Morris just a little bit. Probably could have been caught. He was going to run up the sideline probably for a touchdown.
Spread, quick pass here, another incompletion, and Lasky, the quarterback, has to kind of start to being a little frustrated. I mean, he's missed a couple throws, but we've seen some that are, maybe they're not the easiest place balls, but they should still be caught at this level.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. And, Lasky's a young kid. He came in last year. Actually, I think during Zionsville, I think their starting quarterback, who's a senior, was injured, and he came in and, I think he was able to get a drive that scored last year. But, he's got to settle down here in this first quarter and play with the wind. He's got the wind at his back like we've been talking about, and that makes it's a huge mental thing for a quarterback to have to throw with 25 miles an hour of wind right behind you.
Motion for Harrison. Flag is thrown before the play gets started. That looks like it might be illegal procedure. Yeah, and that will be the call. So ball will be moved back 5 yards, and just another penalty, as we talked about, Alex. They were already staring down the barrel right there on a 3rd and 10, and now you're going to make it a 3rd and 15. So Harrison just not putting it together.
And Lasky's getting a little earful from the coach. That was delay game penalty, and he's got to be aware of the game clock. And once again, he's going to get up here and only have about 13 seconds to snap the ball. So 3rd and 15 for Harrison.
Play clock now under 10. And Lasky in motion, 4-3. They get the snap off, and he's pressured quickly. Actually managed to escape for a second, but then Scotty Panola will come up with the sack. And that's a sack of about another 5 or 6 yards. So Harrison, once again, will be forced to punt deep in their own territory. And let's see if maybe Zionsville doesn't come up with one of these special teams touchdowns I was alluding to earlier.
Yeah, they absolutely could, because with the wind, 25 miles an hour at your back, you should be able to punt the ball pretty far, which could develop a return for Zionsville. But, that
I
very
think maybe
nice.
even a block here.
Yeah,
They've
perhaps.
had some pressure. There's coming. There it
There's
is.
the block.
And scoop.
Oh, no.
Oh, covers it up. Noah Rogers with a fantastic punt block there, but then his teammate went to scoop and score, as all the Zionsville kids are taught to do, and while Noah was on the ground, he just reached out and grabbed the ball. So
yeah, Riley Proficek was right there to pick it up, and he was going to score and walk in, and it's intelligent. He reached out and grabbed the ball and covered it like he's supposed to, but it kind of I feel like Proficek got a little bit robbed right there.
Well, my that was almost a great call by me up here, if I must say so myself. And the quick pass to Nomchef, good for a 4-yard gain deep inside Harrison territory. We got the punt block. I saw that one coming, and sure enough, that scoop and score was about to happen. I'm still sticking with it though.
Yeah, you
Special
should.
teams
I
touchdown
absolutely
or
think you should.
defensive touchdown today.
Yeah, absolutely. Zionsville certainly has the skilled players to do so, and if Nomchef gets some space, he can absolutely take one to the house. So that's I think it's a pretty good assessment there, and a punt block a lot of times leads to a touchdown. So
motion this time for Nomchef. Oh, a nice play there as the pitch goes to Colton Smith, and he gets down inside the 5, and a late hit on Harrison, I believe. So let's see actually what the call was. I couldn't see. I think it'll be a face mask or a personal foul.
I think it was a personal foul. I think Harrison defender didn't catch a number. I think they're getting kind of frustrated out there, and Colton Smith went out of bounds, and the defender just kind of whipped him around a little too aggressively for the refs' likings, and it looks like it will be half the distance to the goal. And isn't that an automatic first down on a personal foul?
I believe so.
Yep, sure is.
It'll remain second down, they're saying up here in the press box.
Maybe
it
not.
should, but yeah, in that case, it should be. In that case, it should actually be third down. And the handoff to Colton Smith. It's not going to really matter what down it is, because he runs into the end zone for the third touchdown of the first quarter here for Zionsville.
So far it was Newski with a reception for a touchdown, pass from Parker Dunshee. Cole Went was able to run one in, and now Colton Smith for the third touchdown. And so with 3 minutes left in the first quarter, Zionsville is up 21, depending on a kick, to 0.
And the extra point is up and good. So Zionsville leads 21-0. And we're only about 3/4 of the way through the first quarter. So it's going to be a long game here. Keep staying tuned in for the broadcast, as I think eventually this game we're going to get a lot of the guys who usually play JV are probably going to get quite a bit of reps today, Alex, maybe even the whole second half at this rate.
Yeah, absolutely, and we'll certainly try to get those names out there to give the players credit for being out on the field when they are. So please stay tuned with us, and we'll try to get you a decent broadcast.
And Parker Dunshee is going to kick it off again. I imagine we're going to see another squib kick here for Zionsville. With the wind, we've had Dunshee's had a holder on the kickoffs today. And out there holding the ball for him is number 41, Jackson Schaefer, who plays safety for Zionsville.
Yeah, and as a coach, what are you going to tell your players if you're on Harrison's team? How do you get yourself back into this game?
I'm not really sure. I think that's a tough job. I mean, when you have a team that's 0-5 and they've just been getting, let's be real, they've been getting just throttled every game. I think the last score that I saw was 66-0 against Fishers. So, I mean, morale can't be too good, but I think at this age, I mean, they just want to play. It's not life or death. It's a high school sport, and they still want to play. So, I wouldn't imagine that morale can be too bad. They're going to go out there and give it their all because that's what you're playing high school football.
Sure.
That's what you do.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I don't think there's much to be said other than just keep trying to execute. You can always get better. You may be losing 42-0, but if everyone's on the same page and executing, you're getting better.
And that was a good little trap play right there. Gave him about 4 yards on that first down.
Yeah, first down carry, good for about 3 yards, and
looks like that was number 34 for Harrison, Brad Fillier, a senior, 5'8", 170. So I think if Harrison can keep themselves in manageable second and third downs to where they can, throw short passes and make some completions. I think right now that Lasky is 0 for 5, hasn't completed a pass yet. So, and obviously they haven't gotten a first down either. So, hopefully they can get a drive together and make this more of a ball game.
Positive play on first down always helps, especially when they've been moving backwards due to penalties. The keep there, a nice little veer play, but Zionsville sniffs it out pretty quickly. 2-yard gain there for the quarterback, Lasky. It'll be third and manageable here for Harrison, which we haven't really seen them in a situation like this where they really have the option to run or pass.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've been in third and long so far.
Yeah, and I think this is a very crucial third down for Harrison. They've got to sustain a drive. Their defense is getting very tired on the sidelines, but Zionsville is obviously controlling the line of scrimmage and is playing a very good ball game so far, being up 21-0. But going back to Lafayette Harrison, the biggest lineman they have is 5'11", 225. So they're very undersized, and they have to make up with speed.
Sprint out here for Lasky as he finds a man, but the ball is bobbled and falls incomplete. So that's another chance, Alex, where the receiver, if he catches that ball, is probably going to get the first down, but the ball was bobbled and eventually dropped, and it'll be fourth down Harrison. They're forced to punt again, and it's been shaky so far. They've had a couple of poor snaps. One got blocked, and one the punter was just tackled. So, and the punt they got away was still not a very good snap. So
yeah,
we'll see as they sprint the fullback here at the last minute. Looking very unorganized so far this first quarter. Another low snap, but it'll be good enough to get it away. And we're going to see a John Nomchef return here.
Big wall over here.
And we got a wall if he can break it. He's looking for room and breaks a tackle. Spins off a man. Good for... That was a pretty long 20-yard gain. He probably ran about 40 yards to get 20 there, but Zionsville for the fourth time now will take over in Harrison territory, and they'll be at the Harrison 39.
Yeah, and let me tell you, partner, that could have been a very dangerous return. There was a large mass of green on the left sideline with a wall for John Nomchef, and if he could have just gotten around the first two guys, he was pretty much going to walk into the end zone with that line. So pretty good execution on that punt return. He was able to get about 15 to 20 yards. But like you said, it was a very sustained run for 20 yards.
And timeout taken for the Raiders, so we're going to have a break in the action. Zionsville leads 21-0 here with 1 minute left in the first quarter. It's been a long quarter due to all the scoring we've had on Zionsville's side of things.
Yeah, it sure has, and Zionsville is doing a very good job executing. Obviously, they mentally came out here very prepared, which I expected from Coach Mack. We went through two of those situations where our game was postponed until the next day. Even our junior year against Avon, which we wound up losing as a kind of a fluke play at the end. A blocked field goal wound up into the arms of the right guy, and he was able to run it for a touchdown to beat us. And then, like you said, against Western Boone. Did we even start that game against Western Boone?
Yeah, we started the game at night. I think we got a couple series in, and then the storms rolled through. I just remember sitting in their gymnasium for a while, and they eventually called it, and we had to wake up and go back the next day. But it definitely throws the schedule off. I'm sure coaches don't like it because usually right now Zionsville would be taking a light morning jog, watching film, getting
pancakes.
eating pancakes hopefully. And it was a bobbled snap there. And the handoff, that was a different quarterback in the game. I think they've taken Parker Dunshee out, at least for the time being.
Yeah, they sure have. He's, I think, obviously he's not hurt. I think they're just giving, I think, number 8.
Joshua Hinkle.
Yeah, he's gotten a couple snaps this year already. He's a junior, very sizable kid, 6'2", 170, and he's got a very strong arm. We've seen him throwing a couple passes, but he's in for now. I haven't even seen. Oh, I see Parker on the sideline.
Parker's on the sideline relaying the plays in. Should be noted that the rest of the starters are out there. It's the entire starting lineup minus Parker Dunshee. 3-step drop, and the ball is tipped, but still caught by John Nomchef. And Harrison tries to return it as if it was a fumble, but the referees blow it dead as they're saying that was an incomplete pass. That was close.
Yeah, rightfully so. I don't think Nomchef really had control of the ball. But a very good defensive play. The defensive lineman was able to get his hands up, knock the ball up, let it get in the air, and Nomchef intelligently reaches it at its highest point, catches it, and as he comes down, the corner was right there to knock it out of his hands. Yeah, like you said, it was close. I think it could have gone either way, and obviously in high school there's no review of a play, so
I mean, you'll take it anytime you can get it.
And that could have been a big play for Harrison. Like you said, expecting a defensive or special team score today.
3rd and about half a yard here for Zionsville at the Harrison Raider 30-yard line. Little veer play, and Hinkle is able, I think he might have got it.
He got a pretty rough spot there.
The referee didn't spot it. It doesn't look like the referee is spotting it where the ball was. It looks like he's spotting it where his knee went down.
They're going to say it's 4th and 1, or 4th and about 6 inches.
That's a rough spot. As the first quarter ends, we're going to switch sides, and then we'll probably see a measurement.
Yeah, I would expect a measurement, but, being on the 30-yard line, I guess they are going to have the wind at their back now. So
I don't like that spot.
I don't like the spot at all, yeah. It was a good effort by Hinkle to get outside and try to extend for the first down, but, the ref said that his knee might have been down before the ball was across where he needed to be, but what do you expect them to do here on a 4th and 1 from the 30-yard line? Obviously, you could probably go for it and get a first down, but it's almost kind of fun to try to kick a long field goal with this 25-mile-an-hour wind at your back.
Yeah, it'll be a little different. Maybe they'll have a little more. I didn't think Zionsville was. They were conservative, but they still threw the ball. They just weren't going to take big shots with it. Then again, they didn't have a lot of time or a lot of room to do it because they had such good field position. I think they're going to be content this game with. They're not going to have to throw the kitchen sink at them. It's just going to be. They're going to run a lot of base plays, move the ball methodically, score touchdowns. And
it looks like they are going to go. And the one thing the Zionsville, no matter who they play, they do not like to abandon their game plan. They're going to call the same plays as they would if they're playing the best team in the state. It's not going to differ any more than just because of who you're playing, I don't think.
Nomchef goes in motion. The handoff to Cole Wint is he gets about an 8-yard gain. So Zionsville needed about a half a foot there to get the first down, wind up getting 8 yards. And it'll be first down Zionsville at the Harrison 22-yard line. We still haven't gotten the starting lineups out there, which is something we need to do once we have a break. The ball has changed hands so many times.
We're going to get the starting lineup as
soon as all the starters are out.
Exactly, yeah.
And a play-action pass here for Hinkle.
What a catch.
A nice catch there, and run after the catch as he wants a touchdown. They're going to say he didn't cross the plane. That's so too bad because it was a great play there by Matt Panola.
That was the young Panola, yeah.
Yeah, that was Scott Panola's younger brother. Number 35, kind of a wobbly pass thrown by Hinkle, but Matt reached out with one hand and tipped it to himself, and then a very nice run after the catch. He was struggling to get to that pylon, almost went into the end zone. He's still checked in at fullback, so maybe they'll reward him here with his. I think this will be his first touchdown of the year.
Yeah, I think
as far as we've seen, anyways.
Yeah, it probably would be, and he's only a sophomore, so it'd be a great thing to have a sophomore getting a touchdown in the first half of basically the first quarter just ended, but there he goes,
gave it to him.
Yeah, touchdown,
Matt Panola. There we go.
So expect him to get a lot more of those in future. I mean, he's only a sophomore and is a big kid.
Yeah, he's big, strong sophomore. One of the Zionsville players is kind of keeled over on the sideline, hoping he's okay. That looks like 81, Alex.
It's like Hayden Clark.
Yeah, Hayden Clark listed as a tight end. He had checked in the ball game on that play. Zionsville up 27, soon to be 28-0. They can complete this extra point try. And he actually missed it, so I spoke too soon. 27-0 Zionsville. And this is just at the start of the second quarter, so we got a long ways to go here, partner.
Yeah, we sure do. It's getting interesting. We'll try to keep you entertained if you're tuning in, and going back to the young Panola scoring right there. That's a great thing for his psyche. As a young player here at Zionsville to get that early touchdown in your career.
I think just to play at Zionsville this early, Zionsville has such a consistent program and such a strong program. I think it's a really big compliment to you to be playing any varsity as a sophomore, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said,
it's not like you just come up and walk on to. Zionsville's a continually fighting for a conference championship, fighting for a sectional championship. So, to be a sophomore and kind of walk into that situation and get the playing time he does, I think that's a big compliment.
Yeah, and as this season is unfolding, I really am starting to get the feeling that Zionsville could be a contending team like through the playoffs. They're a very tough team, very technique sound, have a lot of skilled players. They just have to put all the puzzle pieces together. Other than today, I've yet to see them play a full, complete game to where they didn't make a lot of mistakes and just had a really solid game.
Well, one thing about Zionsville, I think, when it comes playoff time, at least what we've seen so far, is it doesn't look like they're going to kill themselves. We haven't seen them turn the ball over that much. There was one game, I think,
last
Parker
week against
threw
Westfield,
a couple picks or something along those lines, but not a lot of penalties this year. I think we've seen a lot cleaner. I remember last year a couple roughing the passer, roughing the punter, those kind of penalties that really hurt you.
A lot of them last year were right before halftime too. When they were running a 2-minute offense and roughing the passer, personal foul, late hit, stuff like that.
Well, and those are the big penalties. Those are the 15-yarders.
Absolutely.
That really can hurt you. That's a big chunk of yardage. Oh, a nice tackle by Scott Panola there behind the line of scrimmage.
That was a really big stick right there. Running back looked like it was number 4 for Harrison. That is Arion Cook, junior, 5'7", 155, and he just felt all of Scott Panola right there. That was a humongous hit and a great tackle, great form.
2-yard loss, so Harrison once again on first down moves backwards, and it'll make it second and long here for the Raiders. Ball's placed at their own 28-yard line thereabouts.
Yeah, and going backwards on first down, like we've indicated earlier, is just not the way to go, especially this young quarterback just doesn't seem to have the kind of arm strength he's going to need to throw against this 25-mile-an-hour wind. So it's almost like having a 12th player on defense as he fumbles the snap, picks it up, and just has a crowd of green around him. So Zionsville's defense is just really digging in there and being very successful on containing the quarterback and getting right to him.
It'll be third and very long. I think that's almost another lost yard or lost another half yard on that run. So Harrison's staring at about 3rd and 13. And we're going to see another pass play. Hopefully, for the Raiders' sake, they can connect on one. There's been quite a few drop balls, in my opinion. We're going to have a shotgun formation here. 4 wide receivers and a running back in the backfield with Lasky. Send a man in motion. Lasky looks. He's got some time, but decides to take off. He's got a lot of yards to gain there, and he gets about 3 or 4 back to the original line of scrimmage. Maybe a gain of a yard from the original line of scrimmage, but not enough there. And that's one of those times where you got to be a little more savvy as a quarterback and look downfield. There was no way he was going to pick up the first down, and you got to try to, down 27-0 especially, you got to try to make a play there.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't want to have a turnover, and he just saw an opening, thought he could maybe get enough to make it even a manageable 4th down, but they're struggling right now, that's for sure.
The referee falls down, gets up, he's in the way of the Zionsville punt returner, and the ball is dead at this will be Zionsville's first time starting in their own territory. And that was a nice little blooper reel we got here at the stadium as the referee was backpedaling and tumbled over himself.
That sure was.
I'm wondering if that was the ref we met here last night. All the as the storms were yesterday, and we were waiting on word of whether or not the game would be canceled. We had a couple of the refs up here, and we're talking to him a little bit. So
yeah, nice guy too. Very
nice guy. Yeah,
just wasn't able to keep his balance right there, shuffling sideways.
And play action here as Parker is back in the game. Matt Panola almost tries to make another little one-hander or tip it to himself, but he wasn't able to. Starting offense still in for Zionsville. So we got to see the backup quarterback and fullback on that last drive.
Yeah, and it looks like Avery Boxell is wide open down the middle of the field for a bomb. Parker Dungy decided not to throw that one, and smart decision to take care of the ball a little bit. You do have a strong wind at your back, so up 27-0 is no sense in making an errant mistake that's going to cost your team some momentum and a touchdown possibly.
The Zionsville offense can take a little more as this handoff goes to Colton Smith. Good for about 4 yards. I think the Zionsville offense can be a little more loose today on first down, knowing that you can get a 5, 6, 7 yard carry on second down, no problem.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And that's
gives
like
you a little more opportunity.
Yeah, and that's just total confidence in your offensive line as well as the execution of your skilled players. And Zionsville is playing they're playing a great game right now. Defensively they're sound, getting pressure on the quarterback, not allowing him to do anything, and playing good coverage. And then on offense, obviously opening just big holes up for the running backs. And it'll be interesting to see how they continue to play this game before they let the second string in.
Third and about 6 yards for Zionsville. Quick pass to Boxell, and he can't hang on to it. So Zionsville will go 3 and out and have to punt for the first time today. I think that might have been one of those cases where Boxell felt the defenders coming and maybe took his eye off the ball for a second.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was a good hot read. He was wide open, would have had a first down for sure. And
good read and throw by Parker.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see with this wind how Parker is able to punt this ball and keep it without it going out of bounds or anything.
And he'll put his foot into the ball. That's a short kick. And it takes a little bit of a Zionsville bounce, but Harrison will wind up with their best field position of the game at their own 45-yard line.
That was the old shank right there.
Yeah.
Just kind of got the side of his foot and kind of almost looked like it was coming straight towards the sideline of Zionsville. I'll run through the Harrison offensive starting real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Left tackle, Mitchell Cotterman. Left guard, Anthony Davis, number 74. Center, Seth Krusel, number 58. Right guard, Evan Sturgeon, number 77. Right tackle, Parker Sinasak, number 50. Tight end, John Wright, 84. At receivers, Gavin Haltom, number 1. Nathan Brown and Arian Cook, number 4. Quarterback, Jake Lasky. And we'll finish it in a second. Nice run here, though.
Yeah, 13-yard carry on first down for Harrison right up the middle. And that was number 34, the running back for Harrison, trying to find
Brad Feller, I think, number 34.
Yeah, okay, Brad Feller.
And that's kind of the first signs of life from Harrison. That's their first down of the day. So
I think it's their first time into Zionsville territory.
Absolutely.
The Raiders, shotgun formation once again here. And it's a handoff. No, the quarterback will sprint out to the right. First completed pass we've seen. Pass complete to number 15 for the Raiders. That's Cole Smith. And that was good for about a 4-yard gain. So nice run on first down and then a positive play on first down. So Harrison maybe trying to string something together here.
Certainly, and I think the receiver on the near side might have gotten away with a hold right there on Woodard. Woodard was not able to come up and make that tackle, but they seem to like that play where the quarterback kind of just runs out to the side and throws a quick little screen pass or bubble screen to the receiver on the side.
Second and 7 for the Raiders. Shotgun snap and a quick throw intended once again for Cole Smith, and he can't hang on to it. So the pass falls incomplete. It'll be 3rd and 7.
Yeah, not a bad throw. Just was a little inside the receiver, and he wasn't able to reach his hands up and bring that one in. It's one of those plays that's got to be caught. Now you're faced with a long 3rd down, 3rd and 7 or 3rd and 8 here. So, Harrison's got to keep this momentum going if they want to stay in this ball game.
3rd down and 7 yards to go as the refs blow the whistle here. And we're trying to... I think there was a issue with the ball placement. So the ball gets reset, and the ref blows the whistle. We're going to see this 3rd down play pretty soon here for Harrison. Shotgun snap, the handoff up the middle, and he's stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. Maybe got a small gain there as another flag is thrown. This game's getting a little chippy. I've noticed that after the last few kind of scrums we've seen out there in the pile. We're starting to see, I think, maybe a little bit of frustration.
Yeah, I think it's all frustration. Looks like the blood is starting to boil a little bit for this. Well, it looks like it is on Zionsville.
Okay.
So just as we were talking about how Zionsville hasn't made a lot of those.
No, they called it on both.
Okay.
I think, from what I saw up here, it looked like a late push from Harrison, and then it looked like a retaliation from Zionsville.
Did they not offset the penalties? I thought they called both of them.
The refs
per usual, the refs are going to walk up 15 yards and then walk back 15 yards. I've never understood why refs do that, and I think everyone up in the press box here is kind of laughing about that. But nevertheless, refs getting a lot of good exercise, and I'm not sure what's going on.
So they walk
I
off.
don't understand. They said it's a 1st down too. I'm not sure why that is. I feel like it should be 3rd down again.
Well, that was 3rd down. So it'll be, after it's all said and done, it's going to be 1st and 10 Harrison at the Zionsville 37-yard line.
Yeah, I still don't understand how.
Well, it's going to be impossible to explain. I mean, Lasky, quick pass, and a nice hit there behind the line of scrimmage. That was number 12, Tyler Glenn, I believe.
And, he's made a lot of good plays this year. Tyler Glenn, he's a small corner and came up and made a really big hit. They like to run that play like we were talking about. It's kind of sprint out to the left side or right side and hit a receiver. There is a man down for Harrison. There was a receiver who took that big hit, I believe. And we'll get you the name of that.
He's getting up now, and he's going to walk off on his own.
Looks like that was number 3. I mean, he's able to hold on to the ball, though, so a very good job. And looks like number 3 is Nick Morris.
Probably actually would have been better off dropping that one as they lost 2 on the throw.
Absolutely.
We have 6 minutes and left in the first half. Zionsville leads Harrison 27-0. The common theme of this game has just kind of been the overpowering from the Zionsville side, as Alex said earlier, opposing their will on this Raider team. Harrison, though, this has been their best drive of the afternoon, trying to see if they can put themselves into scoring position. A deep ball thrown. He's got a man, and it's overthrown. Pass intended to number 2, Nathan Brown, the wide receiver. Junior, 6 foot, 155 pounds. Had a little bit of room. It was a one-on-one play. Thought he'd throw it up. I don't think that's a bad call. And
certainly not.
When you're down 27-0, take a shot.
You almost feel like that was about all Lasky could put behind the ball with this wind out here. It's pretty brutal. It's coming straight in his face, about 25-mile-an-hour gusts, and he was able to throw it up there, but the ball kind of just hung up in the air, and wasn't a bad throw though. The receiver did have a shot there.
3rd and long, Harrison, which we've seen a lot. They're going to run the ball, get about 5 yards, and we might see Harrison go for it here, as it's going to be 4th and 8 on the Zionsville 35. Not sure they'd really gain much out of a punt. Their punt team's been pretty shaky so far today, so I think for about the rest of the afternoon, anywhere inside the 40 is going to be 4-down territory for the Raiders.
Absolutely. I mean, Zionsville's been getting the ball and pretty much in their territory the whole game anyway, so it's not going to be much of a difference if they do happen to stop Harrison here and get the ball on their own 40 or 35-yard line. So, seeing a lot of good things out of Zionsville, and like we were talking about, my biggest fear going into next week, I think they play Avon. Is that correct?
I'm not sure who Zionsville plays next week. I know we'll be doing the Lafayette Jefferson Avon game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, not Avon. Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure who they play. Maybe Fishers at Fishers.
I couldn't tell you honestly, Alex.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe so.
Well, anyways, I just hope that the game can translate and they can keep their strides. They lost the big game to Hamilton Southeastern, and so far in the conference, as we alluded to last week, is it's pretty up for grabs. Brownsburg's undefeated so far this year. Have looked very, very strong. Have a really good ground attack and have beaten everyone they've played. But at the same time, Zionsville's with only one loss to Hamilton Southeastern, when Hamilton Southeastern, I think, has lost one, maybe 2 games this year.
There's a few teams with one loss right now. Brownsburg, I think they're the only one that hasn't lost at all, have they?
Right, they're undefeated. They're 6-0, I believe. It looks like Harrison is, in fact, going to go for it here.
4th and 8. Harrison, Lasky looks downfield. He's got a man, and the tackle is made by Jackson Schaefer, but not after a 4th down conversion there.
Yeah, and credit Lasky for stepping up there and making a good throw, and a very good catch by number 1, Gavin Holtum. Seems to be the go-to guy for Lasky here, and very strong throw into this wind, and is able to make a first down. So very good job, and Harrison is now within Zionsville's 20-yard line, so we'll see what they can do here getting into the red zone.
Harrison in the red zone for the first time today. This has been their best drive by far. Lasky still throwing, has a man open, and now the receivers are starting to hang on to some of these balls, Alex, and they're actually moving it down the field. That's good for about a 6-yard gain.
It just goes to show how much it helps your team to have a positive play on first down. Minimizing to 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5. Even if you only get 1 or 2 yards in the next play, you're still in a 3rd and 2, and you have a lot of options. And on a 2nd and 4, a lot of teams like to run a play action fake and find a tight end slipping down the center, or maybe a fullback open in the flat. So, a lot of options here on 2nd and 4.
That's exactly right. And we're going to see the shotgun again, which is what we've seen primarily the whole game. Run up the middle, not much doing. They had that one big play this drive on first down, but other than that, there hasn't been much up the middle for the Raiders. Obviously, as we said earlier, their offensive line's the smallest we're going to see all year long.
Yeah, certainly. I can't possibly expect Harrison to feel like they can run the ball against Zionsville. If they're going to beat Zionsville, even being down 27-0, it's got to be through the air. And, Zionsville's still able to put pressure on Lasky. So they've done a good job so far, but this drive is, could come to a halt pretty quickly here on 3rd down.
3rd and 4, Harrison. Handoff, no. It's another pass complete to Cole Smith. He's looking for some running room, and he finds it down to the Zionsville 2-yard line. So Harrison putting together a nice drive here, Alex.
Yeah, they sure are. That was very good play action fake. I really thought the running back had the ball, and he was able to find the receiver in the flat, and Cole Smith was able to get some extra yards, and now it's 1st and goal for Harrison. So gut check time for Zionsville's defense. Looks like they're a little tired, but 27-0 does not mean the game is over. There's only 3 minutes left in the half, but Harrison scores here, they can possibly get the ball back and score before half again.
They're going to spread Zionsville out and still come out of the shotgun. It's 1st and goal, Harrison from the Zionsville 2-yard line. And the handoff, he's pushed back.
Oh my.
And the tackle made behind the line of scrimmage by Noah Rogers, number 40. A very nice play there, Alex. Not biting on the fake. And
it was kind of humorous because the quarterback, Lasky, it was almost like a veer option. He was trying to pull the ball, and his arms were clamped down in there with the ball. And Noah Rogers tackled both of them, yeah. So very good play by Noah Rogers to get in there and stuff that run. And now Harrison's moving back a little bit. It's 2nd and goal from the 5-yard line.
Noah Rogers has been very active this game, putting pressure on the quarterback and making a couple plays behind the line of scrimmage. So He's been one of the more active defenders. Pressure coming, and the sack will be made. Noah Rogers was in there. Was that him?
Yes, sir.
Wow, another good play by Noah. And we've seen that on the defensive line. We've seen kind of a different guy. There hasn't been one consistent standout all year. Who did we have? Connor Dahl.
Connor Dahl last week was a beast. Absolutely.
Connor Dahl was just awesome last week. So the defensive line kind of collectively, they work as a group, and someone new, it seems like, steps up for him every week. So if they can all put it together and be consistent come playoff time, that should be one of the strengths of this Zionsville football team.
Yeah, and as we allude to every week, Zionsville has done a very good job this year of bending a little bit, but when the team gets into the red zone, they haven't really broken. So, and it looks like that was a great play.
It was Scott Panola and Noah Rogers, or Connor Dahl and Scott Panola working together on that play. So Harrison had the ball first and goal from the Zionsville 2, and now they're about to try 4th and goal from the Zionsville 9. So in 3 plays, they went back 7 yards and put themselves in a little bit more of a difficult position. But even if they are unable to convert here, Zionsville is still going to have a long field ahead of itself, as we're now down under 1 minute.
Yeah, and I don't expect Zionsville having any sense of urgency to try to score again before halftime, being up 27-0. Coaches are very, very good about not trying to run the score up. And he walks in. What a
touchdown there by Harrison.
Wow.
A little shove after the play by number 50 on Harrison. He's been one of the chippier ones today. It's Parker Sinisak. I think he's been in the midst of some of the shoving after the plays and maybe some of the personal foul calls.
Yeah, that's the right tackle.
To keep an eye out on him. I saw him. He got away with one right there after the play. I thought they were going to call a late hit on him.
Yeah, I think he's the one who also got the earlier call with when it was offsetting or whatever, where they got a first down. I think he was the one who got flagged for that one too. So he's credit the guy for playing with some emotions. Looks like they're going to go for it on 2.
Yeah,
for 2.
Okay. They're going for 2, and the quarterback was sacked. And so the score is 27-6 Zionsville, as the wind is really starting to pick up, it looks like, from the south end of the stadium.
And, a good job from Harrison to get down there. Obviously don't have a lot of faith in their kicking game, and that happens a lot. Harrison is a much smaller program than that of Zionsville. They only have probably 3/4 the amount of people that Zionsville has on their team. So, not having a strong kicking game but a great job. That was a very good play call on that 4th and 9. And, I don't look at it as a letdown from Zionsville, but a good play call on the draw on 4th and 9. So he pretty much walked in, didn't have anyone on him. So very good play call. It's a risky play call on a 4th and long.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a good play call because it worked.
Right, exactly, yeah.
But they had not gotten much yardage at all. I think the timing, it was well timed because everyone was expecting a pass there. You have to get in the end zone. It's 4th and 9, or 4th and goal from your own 9. I actually just thought that was a really bad showing on that last down by Zionsville's defense to be backed up against the wall and have 4th and goal from the 2 and move them back to the 9-yard line and then give up a play like that for a touchdown. I'm sure that was a little disheartening for the coaches,
Absolutely, but they were definitely placed in a bad position there, and yeah, like you said, to let down on that 4th down. But
you had them.
Yeah, they really did. They really did.
So the kick is away, and it'll take a bounce, and Colton Smith will return this, looking for some running room. Actually had some room, but then an arm tackle kind of out of nowhere. Zionsville still leading by 3 touchdowns, 27-6. Their offense will come on the field, and as Alex said earlier, I'm not sure we're going to see a whole lot of urgency from the Eagles, already up 27-6. Only 36 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, especially considering they're going to get the ball back right after halftime. So, I wouldn't expect them to try to take any crazy shot. But, you never know with Zionsville. They could easily drop back and throw one up to Namchef.
Yeah, we'll see what they come out with here. Nomchef and Chris Mason are your receivers. It's a quick pass to Nomchef, and they're just going to be content to see what he can do with it. He close to maybe a late hit, but he gets pushed out of bounds at the 40, and the tackle was made by number 43 for Harrison. That's Cameron Green, the linebacker. He's a sophomore, pretty big sophomore, really 6 foot, 185-pound linebacker.
Yeah, that is
looks big anyways in pads out there.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And then you kind of put it in perspective, Scott Panola is 6'3", 225, so talk about a big kid for a linebacker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 30 seconds left, so Zionsville got a nice little gain there, only using 6 seconds off the clock. And a boot here to the right for Parker Dunshee. The catch is made by Carson Kennedy, another late hit that's not called. That was on Chris Mason. Someone, one of the defenders, pancaked Chris Mason after the play.
Yeah, Zionsville has 3 timeouts, and they're not choosing to use them. There's 24 seconds left, so I guess they're going to be content with maybe running another play or spiking the ball here.
And the ball is set. Clock starts. Zionsville gets the play off almost instantaneously. The pass here to Cole Went, as he makes a nice cut to get about 5 extra yards and finally gets out of bounds here towards the Zionsville sideline. So the ball will be placed at the Harrison 35, and with 15 seconds left and all the timeouts, I mean, you're gonna have maybe time for 1 or 2 plays before, I guess, trying a field goal.
Either try, at this point with 15 seconds left, drop back and just take a shot at the end zone. You have really tall receivers. Harrison does not have very sizable DBs, so
surprisingly,
in my opinion,
they go with Avery Boxell here. I would think you'd see Chris Mason in this situation. If you are going to take a shot to the end zone, they're going to go to not. That's probably best he'd actually drop that ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't like the play call, unless their goal is just to get it in the middle of the field for a field goal try.
Yeah, perhaps. At this point, with 11.9 seconds now, you have 1 shot, and then you can try a long field goal. But
yeah, you're either going to get 2 plays or a play and a field goal.
I still think they should have run a route that was not a 5-yard slant right there with 15 seconds left.
Yeah, but him dropping that probably worked out for the best. Wisniewski is going to be the lone fullback, and we're going to see 4 wide receivers. Actually, Colton Smith is lined up kind of in the slot right now, almost like an H-back. And a big drop. Parker's looking downfield, and he's actually sacked. Well, no, he actually gets about 4 yards on the carry. 6 seconds left.
It does stop the clock, though, because it was a first down, but I think now it's time they'll probably try to kick a field goal.
It should be interesting with the wind we've had. Actually, if there's any time, it might work out for Zionsville. It looks a little, well, actually, no, it's still gusting pretty hard.
Yeah, it's pretty gusty.
There was a second there where we kind of had a little calm.
Yeah, and Zionsville does, in fact, use their first time out of the half with 6 seconds left, so we'll see what kind of play they can dial up here, or if they're just going to go for a long field goal. From the 30-yard line, you're looking at a pretty long field goal, 48-yarder, and for a high school kid to kick a 48-yarder, that's a pretty big one.
Yeah, 6 seconds. Zionsville leads 27-6. We've seen quite a bit of offense here. A lot of short fields to work with. The most impressive drive, honestly, was probably the Harrison drive, that last one.
I absolutely agree with you. Yeah, they had a good mix of pass and run, and even going into the wind was able to get down and score a touchdown. Didn't get the 2-point conversion, but still, to get some points on the board does a lot for your psyche, and looks like Zions is going to run one more play here. Not sure what they're going to do, but
they're either, I would imagine they're going to have to go for the end zone. It's going to be too hard to run a quick play and then call timeout.
And they'll get a timeout with 1.2 seconds left, so
kind
of using all the clock.
Yeah.
A nice route by Chris Mason there is like a 5-and-out pretty quick, and now Zionsville thinks they're in field goal range.
I would say that play was the equivalent to a bunt in baseball.
Yeah.
That was small ball there.
Yeah, very,
they
very
got
small ball.
3 extra yards for the field goal try, and called a timeout. So it was a gamble. If that play extended much longer, they only stopped the clock with 1.2 seconds left here in the first half at Zionsville Stadium here.
And And it'll be interesting to see who kicks this ball. It looks like number 98 is out there. It's Christian Schmidt.
Keep in mind, he just missed an extra point at this exact same field goal post.
He sure did. We talked about this last week. Special teams, it's like the easiest place in high school football for there to be mistakes or issues between handling the ball and putting it down and the long snap. And you just never know what's going to happen. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of responsibility.
So Schmidt will line up for the kick, and it is up.
It looks like it's going to be a little short.
Pretty short. And they're going to actually return it. Harrison's trying to.
Yeah, they call it dead. He can't catch it in the end zone and try to return it. It's not something that they're able to do in high school football. But nevertheless, halftime, Zionsville's leading 27-6, and I think we're going to take a little break here, and we will come back to you right before the start of the second half. And you are listening to Aaron and Alex on audiosportsonline.com.
We're back for the second half here in Zionsville. Second half of football is just about to get underway. Zionsville, I believe, won the toss and elected to defer. So they will open up this second half with the first possession, leading 27-6 over the Raiders.
And I expect to see Zionsville take one more drive with their starting offensive group, and then probably start to see a filter in of the second string, and even probably down to the third string. By the end of this game, the wind is still extremely, extremely strong.
Howling up here in the press box.
Yeah, as we are down there, using the lavatory. Zionsville will, in fact, return the ball and get the ball starting the second half. And what did you see from Zionsville that you expect to see more of in this half?
I expect them to just run the ball. I think they'd be more than content to get out of this game with no injuries and a nice win. Maybe get some playing time for the second unit. Let some of the JV guys get out here and get some work, get some reps. Other than that, I think we'll see Zionsville run the ball and probably be. In the first half they didn't take any big shots downfield, and I don't think they will here in the second half either. For Harrison, after putting together that drive, I'm more interested to see how they come back. They came out that last possession with a nice, that was probably about a 50, 60-yard drive somewhere in that area, capped off by a 9-yard touchdown run. And that was their first real success of the first half, so I'm more interested to see if they can carry that over. I expect Zionsville's offense to keep moving the ball. They scored on every possession except for one punt, and then the very last possession, they were forced to settle for a field goal because of the clock running out. The return here, some room to run for Tyler Glenn, the cornerback. A nice return out past the 45-yard line, so Zionsville once again will start with great field position.
And as expected, it looks like it is going to be Zionsville's first team coming in for at least this drive, maybe one or two more drives into half of the third quarter. And despite the score and despite how the first half went, kind of a lopsided game for Zionsville, you have to credit Harrison because, they did punt and have a lot of 3-and-outs, but they did not have any turnovers. And, that's one thing in high school football that, is always a negative spot is how many turnovers a team has, and they didn't have any. So
will they count the blocked punt and recovery as
more of a turnover on downs, I do believe. But, yeah, probably.
Nice run there by Cole Went, gets out just past midfield, and a nice first down carry for about 5 yards there for Zionsville. And as Alex has been alluding to, we might not see the first unit too much longer. We'll see. I'm sure they'd want to get a little bigger lead. They're only up 21-0. We've seen them up that much on McCutcheon, I believe, and they still played. So 3 touchdowns is really not a whole lot in high school football. Things can change drastically in a minute.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I think you at least want to get one more score.
Yeah, I would say one more score, maybe one more score and a stop would probably be a sense of security for the Zionsville team. But as they continue to pound the ball,
it's good for a first down on that carry.
I would expect them to just keep being able to carry the ball. The offensive line is doing a very good job, and Harrison just has not really had an answer for this combination of Colton Smith and Cole Went. So
we may see the starting defense stay out there a little longer. I think generally you'll pull the offensive guys first, kind of call the dogs off a little bit,
right,
and then keep the defense out there maybe a series or two longer just to ensure that they don't narrow that gap.
Yeah, absolutely. It's okay for the offensive production to go to a halt a little bit, but you want your defense to stay out there and keep Harrison backed up in their own territory.
Another handoff to Cole Went. He bounces off a tackler and is finally drugged down, but he gets a gain. I'd probably call that almost nearly 5, but they're going to call it 2nd and 6 here at the stadium on the scoreboard.
Yeah, and I think Cole Went has had a very, very impressive season this year. Coming into this game, almost 500 yards rushing, but the biggest stat that I see is he averages right around 6 yards a carry. So that's exactly what the coaches want. I think coaches strive for 4 yards at minimum on first down to get yourself a manageable second down, but he's averaging about 6 yards a carry. That's great.
Wisniewski, the fullback, came in motion. Pass is complete to Chris Mason, pushed out of bounds at the 30-yard line, Yeah, I think one of the biggest stats for Zionsville's running backs has to be, I don't think they fumbled the ball this year. I don't think we've had one fumble by a running back, at least in the games that we've done. And
you're absolutely right.
This is our fourth Zionsville game out of their 6. We haven't seen the running backs fumble the football, so that's a nice stat. How many times do you see high school football running backs cough the ball up? You see it all the time.
Yeah, all the time, and I think that goes back with how they carry the ball. They carry the ball high and have 2 arms on it at all times, and some people would say, well, maybe that slows them down a little bit, but when you have such an offensive line that's opening up holes, and as Wisniewski just lays a huge block on the defender right there.
That was a big block by Wisniewski.
Feeds right into what we're talking about. These running backs can get into the second level of the defense very, very easily, and they've continued to do so today. And that's just a great run and a very nice job by the offensive line. And they're obviously driving this ball and have intentions of getting into the end zone.
Well, so far today, Zionsville has been good for 4 yards on first down every time. And if you can get 4 to 6 yards every time on first down, you're going to put yourself in a lot more favorable position. How many times have we seen 2nd and long, 3rd and long situations here for Harrison that they couldn't convert? And John Nomchef, the pass is over the top for Boxell and overthrown. He had him. Parker Dunshee pump faked to John Nomchef and decided to go over the top. Boxell had a lot of room to run there. That was a surefire touchdown if they could have completed the pass.
Sure was, and I think that wind just carried the ball a little bit too far for Avery Boxell to get underneath there. But a nice shot right there. And as you were alluding to, having 2nd and 6, you have those opportunities to pump a short pass and take that shot downfield. So, credit offense of Zionsville for trying that kind of a play. And with a 3rd and 6 in Harrison's territory, I would expect to maybe see two doses of Colton Smith here.
Yeah, 3rd down, 6 yards to go for the Eagles. Wisniewski, the fullback, in motion. Another good block. Colton Smith, he'll get a first down on the carry, about 6.5 yards. That'll put Zionsville at the Harrison 20 as the clock is now under 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Zionsville leads 27-6.
Yeah, and you can tell, Harrison is getting very tired, very fatigued on defense. They were on defense, I would probably say 3/4 of the time in the 1st and 2nd quarters of that first half.
I don't think Zionsville had any real long drives, though. I mean,
right,
they took over inside Harrison territory almost every time.
Right, but Harrison was going 3 and out every single time. So
that's true.
A lot of time consumption there, even if they are starting on the 45-yard line.
Wisniewski, the fullback, breaks a tackle, runs over a guy, and he gets down to the 6, so about a 14-yard carry there on just a fullback dive up the middle. And we have a man injured here for Harrison. We'll try to get you his number.
Yeah, he's on all fours and
clock stops.
Yeah, and I have to think that was the hit that was inflicted from Wisniewski. It's always
really impressed by Wisniewski's pad level when he runs. I mean,
yeah. And that kind of goes for all fullbacks that Zionsville have had in the past. They always
good pad level.
Are able to run with the ball down and secure the ball and get forward progress after they're first contacted. So very good job and also balance. We talked about this last week with Colton Smith, was able to run a long one into the end zone. It's just having that balance and knowledge and vision as a running back for Zionsville is going to set you up for success. And, going back to what we were talking about on first down, getting, positive 4 yards every single time, it'd be interesting to look at the stats because I almost guarantee that on drives where Zionsville's averaging 4+ yards on first downs, they probably have a touchdown every single time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that the story of the game could be summed up so far just by showing the average Harrison first down play and the average Zionsville first down play. I mean, I would go as far to say that on average, Harrison went negative today in first down.
Absolutely. They had that one big gain on first down, but every other
penalties maybe even. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they've been backed up after first down every single. They've stared at a lot of 2nd and longs, whereas Zionsville has kept their options open. We still have a player down here inside the 10-yard line for Harrison. The training staff for the Raiders is out there. The Harrison team is taking a knee over on the visiting sideline. And I'm trying to kind of make out. I'm not able to see down in there.
I sure can't see who the number is
the
either.
Number, yeah, we'll try to get it to you as soon as we can.
Yeah, I'm almost positive that was from the direct contact from Wisniewski. It's just a low to try to tackle. And when he's got that low pad level and helmet down there,
Well, and you hear the phrase run behind your pads a lot, and I think the Zionsville running backs really run behind their pads instead of a stand-up runner, that stands up too straight. We've seen a couple of those where, your chances of breaking tackles are just so much more diminished when you don't run behind your pads.
Absolutely, and as Zionsville players start to take a knee, kind of a grown worry up here of what's going on with this player. He was on all fours, kind of hunched over, and obviously was hurt. He's moving his legs and limbs, so I could just possibly see a concussion, maybe a head injury here.
Yeah, we have. It's starting to feel like it's more of a serious injury.
Sure is. It looks like.
Have we seen him? Has he moved?
Yeah, his legs are moving.
Okay,
I don't
that's
think it's
good.
anything too crazy. And he was on all fours before he laid down. I'm guessing it's just a concussion or some kind of a head injury, but those are becoming more and more important to protect the players here.
And you got to be ultra protective nowadays in our society,
especially when these kids are only 16, 17, 18, have a long career ahead of them and whatever they want to do. So, yeah, I absolutely have to be cautious about everything. It looks like they're doing all kinds of tests on his neck and making sure he's okay. But we'll see.
I think eventually we'll see him stand up and walk off.
Maybe. Looks like the trainer's having him do different motions with his legs.
Yeah. And we're still waiting for word on the field. Haven't gotten anything yet. 8.5 minutes left to go in the game as Zionsville has moved the ball down into the red zone of Harrison. We've seen all runs this drive, haven't we, Alex? I don't think we saw one pass completed to Chris Mason on the sideline.
And we saw a overthrow by Dunshee to Avery Boxell for a shot down into the end zone. But, yeah, just 2 passes versus probably 7 or 8 runs. It's a very Zionsville-like drive. 6 to 8 yards per carry, nothing big, nothing crazy, and it's successful for Zionsville. And like we were alluding to earlier, Zionsville doesn't like to go away from their game plan. They're going to come out here being up 27-6 and continue to mix in the pass and the run at the same time. So, very methodic drives that Zionsville puts together, giving to the fullback and the different tailbacks. And I expect Zionsville to, even when their second string gets in there, to still have success against this Harrison team. Zionsville's backup running back technically is Colton Smith, who gets a lot of the first team carries, and then Hinkle was in the game earlier, the quarterback for Zionsville, and offensive line for Zionsville is usually pretty fundamentally sound, even with the second group. So we'll see what kind of success they're going to have when they put them in there.
Well, if you think about it, looking at Zionsville's second string offensive line, going across the line, 224, 228, 216, 228, 241. That's on average, I'd say they would kind of outsize or outweigh at least the Harrison defensive front by a good 30 so pounds per man up front.
Absolutely. And looks like the Harrison player is in fact up on his feet as applause come from the crowd, both sides of the field and the players as they're starting to get up and realizing it's time to play football again. He's limping a little bit. Looks just a little shaken up. I'm guessing it's just a head injury and maybe a concussion. But we'll see what we'll let you know what the indication is if we find out up here in the press box.
Yeah, he's walking off the field on his own. We're going to get back into the action here pretty quick as the players are waiting for the referees to blow the whistle here. And the line has taken their spot. Zionsville's offensive line has played great today, which they should have, but part of it is, on paper it sounds great, but you still got to go out and do it. And they have gone out and done it today. Zane Breach, Eric Whiteholter, Thomas Mattingly, Austin Brewer, and Jacob Avon have really put in a good, solid day's work thus far.
Absolutely.
And there's a little boot action here for Dunshee. He's got a man back of the end zone.
Avery Boxell wide
Touchdown
open.
to Avery Boxell.
That was a nice little play action and boot to the right side of the field, the wide side of the field, and as the second level was just kind of broken down. Good defense initially by Harrison to have someone covering up the receiver and the tight end on the flat, but on the second level, Avery Boxell was coming across on a dig route and was pretty much wide open. All Parker had to do was throw it up for him. So very nice execution, and as we alluded to, great first drive to start the second half by Zionsville.
And the extra point is good. So Zion takes a lead 34-6. They're up four touchdowns now with remaining in the third quarter as the fight song plays here at Zionsville Stadium. And Alex, as I was speaking to you earlier about Harrison, just trying to see, obviously their last drive was their best, and it's definitely something to build off of. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of halftime adjustments maybe they made, and if their offense will kind of have any more luck, especially as we've been talking about on first down.
Yeah, that's always the big surprise to see, or not surprise, but one of the things you look for, especially up here in the press box, is what kind of adjustments do teams make at halftime. And I think that's what separates a solid coach from just maybe an average coach. And Zionsville's coaching staff has always been incredibly great at making halftime corrections, and I'm sure Harrison's is just the same. I'm not sure. I'm not very familiar with their coach, but like you said, interesting to see what they're going to do. And obviously, I think being down by 4 touchdowns, you have to come out and throw the ball a little bit and give your team a shot to get back into this game. And hopefully Zionsville can get their second guys in there and have a shot to get a lot of playing time today.
And the kick is away. It's very short. Takes a bounce. Oh, it's working out as almost like an onside kick, as Zionsville had a chance to recover it. It was a very short kick, bounced at the 20, and actually bounced in Zionsville's favor back towards them to the 25, and they had a chance at recovering it, but Harrison was able to cover it up.
I have never seen an end-over-end kick come backwards.
Just took a weird hop.
Pretty crazy.
One thing I have noticed is I think there is someone, I can't make out the number, on Zionsville that has the brightest cleats I have ever seen.
It's number 98. It's the kicker.
No, I'm talking about on the field right now.
Oh, right now.
What are those things?
Oh, yeah, they're like kind of neon green. That's
they're
number 5,
highlighter.
It looks like.
Those are I've never seen cleats that bright in my entire life.
You're talking about Christian Schmidt's hot pink.
No, you expect that there. Yeah, well, you expect that. A lot of soccer cleats, I think, are super bright. Look at them.
Yeah, that's true. I guess they are very bright.
Yeah, those are hot pink, and then on the defense, you have that's like a highlighter yellow. We got to find out who that is.
It's I already checked. It's number 5, Carter Spear.
Oh, all right. Oh, a huge hit by Scott Panola, and they're saying he's down.
Man, oh man, oh man!
That looked bad.
Yeah, I'd expect him to get up pretty slow because that was a pretty big hit. The refs called that ball down, but I honestly thought that ball was out. He got rocked pretty hard.
Lasky was stood up, and it was almost like they were just standing him up as a tackling dummy for Scott Panola on that play.
It almost looked like WWF. Just slam him down.
Oh boy. So yeah, another negative play here for Harrison, which has kind of been the story of the game on offense for the Raiders. So we'll see once again a 3rd and long. They converted a couple of these on their previous drive. 4 wide receivers here as Lasky looks. He's got a man.
And the ball is dropped.
And it was dropped. It looked as though he caught it, and then it could have been a fumble, but the referee quickly blew it dead and said that he did not complete the catch. So Harrison's going to be forced to punt from inside their own 10-yard line, looking for the Eagles to get good field position once again. Tyler Glenn is back to return the punt, as I think the coaches wisely have decided against, risking Namchef anymore back there.
And Tyler Glenn had a really good kickoff return a little bit earlier, I think, to start the second half. So he's got some speed and pretty good punt here, end over end, and kicked out of bounds. Not too bad of a kick. It's going to bring you about at the 45, I would guess.
Yeah, that's correct. Eagles will take over at the 46-yard line of Harrison, and they'll have another short field to work with. So field position battle has been won easily by the Eagles. That's another stat I would like to see. Unfortunately, we don't have all that access from up here, but I would like to see starting field position. I would think the Eagles have to be starting at least about 25 yards ahead of Harrison almost every time.
Oh, yeah, at least. And I know Harrison's drive progressions have gone 3 and out, one more 3 and out, and then they drove down at the end of the half and scored, but then they just went 3 and out again. So not a lot of success by them. And it looks like this is a new running back for Zionsville. Looks like it is number
22 for Zionsville. Just got that carry. That's Alpha Diallo. And he's a 5'11", 190-pound senior running back. He's a senior, and that's the first time we've seen him this year. That was a nice-looking run.
Sure was. He's got some serious speed, and once again, Zionsville was able to open up a hole. Parker Dunshee is still in the game, and as well as the starting line and Namchef. So everyone, the only new is like we just alluded to, number 22, Alpha Diallo. So we'll see what he can do with the ball with these big holes. That
was a great first run.
Yeah, I'm expecting a lot out of him here.
So he got a gain of about 16 yards on that last run. Wisniewski, the fullback, is just carrying Harrison defenders. A fullback dive that nets about 9 yards for the Eagles inside the Harrison 25.
Yeah, he doesn't really want to go down to the ground ever, does he, partner?
No. He has a knack for dragging tacklers and delivers a lot of big hits, and we saw him last time, a couple pancake blocks there.
Yeah, I think he's definitely one of the most important roles on the offense. Opens up those holes. He's a solid returning man out of the backfield, and he's a solid player. Zionsville's got a lot of those guys who are experienced players who make big plays for them, and are very good leaders for the team.
The pitch this time to Diallo, he breaks it open again. And that's good for about a 15 to 20-yard run. And that's going to be inside the Harrison 10.
Yeah, and Zionsville is pretty confident in their two running backs in Colton Smith and Cole Wint, but you never know when a big senior comes in there and is having these kind of runs, what kind of playing time that's going to develop for himself there. Obviously has a lot of athleticism, speed, and is able to get the ball down the field. He's averaging probably 15 yards a carry right now after 2 carries.
Motion here by John Namchef. Parker Dunshee's under center in the I formation. Diallo gets another carry. He'll walk into the end zone, no problem. It wasn't even touched on that play. So Alpha Diallo comes into the game, gets 3 carries on that possession. Probably nets about 40, somewhere around 40 yards, 45 yards, and it comes out with a touchdown as well. So a nice introduction to all the Zionsville fans, and certainly up here in the press box, a nice introduction to us by Alpha Diallo.
Yeah, it makes you wonder where this kid's been the whole year. I mean, obviously, he's a strong runner.
He's getting a lot of pats on the back down, but from his teammates.
Yeah, he sure is. I don't remember him on the roster last year. Maybe he's a new kid this year, moved into Zionsville or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we have not seen him, but we'll definitely look out for him. Certainly the rest of the game, and also in the upcoming games. Zionsville, after this one, will have, I think, 3 more before playoffs, 3 or 4. Is it a 10-game schedule or 9?
I think 9.
I know it used to be 9, but we'll have to double-check that.
Yeah, I think it is 9 because I think there's 10 teams in the conference, and they don't play any out-of-conference games, so that'd be 9 games, I do believe.
Well, that sounds good to me. 3 games, then we'll have the playoffs. And keep in mind that audiosportsonline.com, primarily probably you're going to have me and Alex will be doing most of the playoff games. I know sometimes, the further you move into the playoffs, they might send you traveling. I know one year we had to go all the way down to Jasper for a game. And if you can't make the games or the games are too far, we should be able to bring the broadcast to you. So keep that in mind when it comes to playoff time. 41-6, Zionsville leads. 5 minutes left in the third quarter, and the kick is taken by one of the upbacks at the 25-yard line. He takes it out past the 30, and Harrison's offense will take over once again.
Good tackle by number 87, Nick Maines. Called his name a lot last year on as a receiver. I think they moved him to defense.
Started tonight.
Yeah, he's been starting at the outside linebacker position. He's a very sizable kid. He's only a junior, I do believe. And see a lot of potential in him. Surprising they moved him after last year. I thought he had a very successful year as a receiver, but coaches know a lot better and their players what they can expect. So
could be one of those scenarios where they thought Chris Mason could handle the receiver position.
Certainly. And Avery
they
Boxall.
have Avery Boxall, yeah. So
Obviously
maybe they just had enough weapons.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they'll move him back to receiver next year as a senior. But
yeah. And this run is taken for about a 2-yard gain for Harrison. Zionsville, now they're starting to replace, I just see, it looks like the starters are out there still to me, except I think number 15, Ben Kochert, is he one of him and Jackson Schaefer, right, both start?
Yes, correct.
Because I'm not seeing Schaefer out there. I'm seeing Ryan Connor and Kocher. But I think we've seen that lineup from them before. I think we've seen those guys play.
Kocher sometimes comes in and plays. I think he had a couple picks this year, I believe, already.
They have. I know Schaefer did.
Yeah.
The pass this time is picked off by Connor, and he's not gone. He's tackled at the 22-yard line. And that's funny as soon as you said it. So I predicted a punt block earlier, and Alex just kind of called an interception by Ryan Connor. We're getting a little help here from the football gods today.
We sure are.
Making us look a little better than we are.
Man, I really, really thought that ball was going to be taken to the house by Ryan Connor, but great break on the ball. He was able to pick that ball off, and that's the first turnover by Harrison today. So, obviously the score is lopsided towards Zionsville in their favor. But that's the only turnover other than a blocked punt by Zionsville so far today. And, Zionsville obviously has to be very content with how this game has gone so far. We still have 4 minutes left in the third quarter, and it's 41-6. And, Zionsville has the ball once again in Harrison's territory. As far as stats go, we don't have the exact stats, but, I can't imagine Harrison has more than 35 total yards today.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see once you add the negative plays in. One thing I'm curious about that I just realized, I don't know if you've realized this, Alex, since you've been watching and we've been broadcasting these games on our second year now, but when we were playing, and this wasn't light years ago, this was 2005, you always had to have those high socks.
Absolutely.
You know that? And now you see, you can pretty much, it looks like you can wear whatever you want. It's very surprising to me, I guess, because, even you're seeing highlighter-colored cleats and short socks, tall socks, everything in between. It's kind of taking the uniform out of uniform.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And, even I think that has kind of come from in the pros and in college, even some of those guys in there, they don't even wear all the pads in their pants. And I remember...
we had a choice.
That was one of the biggest things that on the bus ride up to whatever game we were going to, making sure we had all our pads with us, because if you don't, you can get penalized. Even wearing a mouth guard not having a mouth guard in was a penalty in high school when we were there. So, I absolutely agree with you.
Times change quickly.
They sure do. They sure do.
I formation for Zionsville. They have the ball inside the Harrison 20. Another handoff to Alpha Diallo, finding a little less running room right now. The complete second-team offense for Zionsville is in the game, so he was running behind the starting offensive line the last possession for the Eagles. And
we'll try to get you those offensive starters or the offensive second team that's in there. Obviously, we see number 35 in there, Matt Pinola. Looks like number 34, Glenn Collier, who's a receiver. Alpha Diallo. It looks like number 47 is the left tackle. And... Garen Wagner. he's tight end. And we'll try to get you the rest as we go.
Hand off to Pinola. No, it's kept by the quarterback Joshua Hinkle. And it's kept on the little veer play there around the left-hand side. Good for about a 9-yard gain and a first down, Zionsville. It'll be first and goal, Eagles, just inside the 5-yard line, or right at about the 4-yard line of Harrison.
Just another noted person who's in there for Zionsville, number 21, Robert Wirtz. He is a senior, 6'1", 160. Haven't seen a lot of him this year, but it's good that he's in there as a senior getting some reps. I know it is homecoming weekend, so it's nice to get everyone in there.
And this handoff to Matt Pinola. He gets into the end zone for his second touchdown of the game. So Zionsville's second unit, well, starting with the defense, Ryan Connor takes an interception back about 25 yards deep into Harrison territory. And Zionsville's second unit offense is able to finish the deal and punch it in. So
and that's I think that's what we expected. Zionsville, whether it's the first team or the second team, is good enough core and it has enough depth to where they're going to be able to have success against these teams. And Zionsville looks like they're going to take a timeout as they're trying to get the entire second team, even PAT, in there, and it looks like someone was missing, but they call timeout. Zionsville's at 47-6, and this is just one of those games where get over with it, move on, and start preparing for next week.
Yeah, I don't think this is a game that you celebrate too much. I doubt they'll even watch a whole lot of film on this game. I think they're going to probably immediately make the transition to next week's contest. Might get a little film session in tomorrow after school and then start changing gears quickly.
Certainly. I remember when we played a couple teams and we won by a large amount or a large point spread. We go watch about the first quarter of film, take a couple notes, and then right out to practice. So
yeah, there's not a lot you can learn by just kind of glorifying yourself, watching you beat up on another team. It's probably more beneficial and more productive to use your time getting better on the practice field at that point.
Absolutely.
Extra points up and good. It's 48-6. Zionsville, 2 minutes left in the third quarter here in Zionsville. And the Eagles coasting now with the second unit in. I imagine we'll see the second defense in as well here.
Absolutely. And, a couple things to take away from Harrison is that, you just got to keep playing. You got to keep doing what you can do and keep throwing the ball. For some reason, I remember when we played Harrison when we were in high school, they ran a lot of that wishbone formations, and it looks like they've kind of developed into more of a spread offense. But we talked about a little bit earlier this week how a spread offense it's almost too complex for a high school.
I think it's almost too innovative for high school because high school defenses are not that reactionary, and I think a lot of spread is on misdirection and just based off of, I guess, fooling the defense to react to one thing quickly. When you're in college or the pros and the D line shifts so quickly, you can fool them on those spread plays or on those keepers. And here, I think in high school, the defenses are a lot slower. The reaction time is, and I don't think you really get the benefits like you do in college or the pros with the spread offense.
Absolutely, and I will say that, to have a successful spread offense, you obviously need good receivers and a quarterback, but the most important part of a spread offense is easily the line, because you don't have that extra tight end in there to help protect the quarterback. It's basically tackle, guard, center, tackle, and guard. And between those five guys, they have to learn how to pick up blitzes, call out who's coming where, and it's a very, as much as it is a quarterback to change the routes and to edit what's going on, it's just as important for the line to be able to make those rub calls and make sure they're picking up everyone so their quarterback doesn't get creamed. As Harrison tries a misdirection and fumble balls down, and looks like Zionsville has the ball. So,
Zionsville's second team defense. I don't know if that was Harrison's first string out there or not, but Zionsville's second team.
It was their first team. I saw Lasky and I saw number 50 for Harrison, and
comes up with a fumble there. So the Eagles, another possession. They're going to start at the Harrison 30-yard line here. So when it rains, it pours, and we're
still
the
third quarter.
It's still the end of the third quarter. Trust me, I know. I've been eyeballing the clock. This game, a lot of stoppages in time. So this broadcast is going to be one of our longer ones for sure.
It was a pretty big game tonight, huh, partner?
Yeah, Alpha Diallo with a fantastic spin move. Finally drugged down, but not after a 5 or 6 yard carry.
Alpha Diallo showing some of that skill he's got in there. Kind of went to the right, didn't have anything, so just kind of spun out to the left side and was able to run and get past a couple tacklers. Very nice run, and Zionsville's second team looks pretty good out there. They really do. I think this Harrison defense is very tired, even though they still have the first team in there, and Zionsville's able to impose their will and continue to do that.
Single back here is Diallo. 3-step drop. Hinkle takes off, looking for room, and is tackled after he gets right about to the first down marker. I think it's going to be a little short, but it might be worth a measurement.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, I would expect that they would just give us the first down. I mean, it's so close there. And the ref just actually moved the ball back about 6 inches to make it 3rd and 1. So his initial spot was not what he wanted, but I would expect this is probably second to last play before the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, the clock is now under 1 minute. Handoff is to Matt Panola, and he'll get enough for the first down. So the third quarter, well, clock just stopped, actually.
First down, yeah, it'll stop and reset once the chains are done.
The play clock in high school is 25 seconds, so we're at least going to get one more play. And Zionsville has the ball inside the red zone once again. They have capitalized every time they've been inside the 20 tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matt Panola comes in motion to the right. 3-step drop. Hinkle delivers the ball. And it is caught. Catch is made by number 21 for the Eagles. That's Robert Wirtz. He's a senior wide receiver getting some playing time. And that's good for about a 4-yard gain as the game clock ticks to 0 on the third quarter. So we'll change ends of the field, and Zionsville's going to have a crack at it going into the wind, into the south end zone here.
And just to touch on a couple of the linemen that I've seen that are in there, looks like 73, Christian Brown is playing. Also 62, E.J. Schumacher, and number 60, Drew Hobick. I'm not sure what positions they are exactly. We'll try to get those to you. Obviously, if you're watching at home and you're their family, you know where they're playing. But also, number 56, Austin Gilmore is in there as well. And as I alluded to earlier, I think Garen Wagner, who is the tight end, big kid, 6'7", 210. So he's a tall guy. It'd be nice to see one thrown up to him. Obviously, they don't want to run up the score being 48-12, but we'll see what they can do here. It looks like they're marching and might be able to score again. Been a very long and drawn out afternoon here in Zionsville, and the wind has continued to blow. And as we were standing out there behind the stadium, these gusts of wind, it's really shows, and got to tip your hats to these quarterbacks who are able to throw the ball into this wind, because it's very stifling. It's very strong and gusty and cool. So
let me say that I love what the Zionsville offensive line is doing right now, giving themselves some credit. I've seen some of the NFL guys do this towards the end of the game, since the offensive linemen never really get much credit. They're standing right in a row as they would on the line. And so everyone can get a good look at the name and the jersey number. I love it.
And the size.
Yeah.
They really stand up there and show
that
how big
bench
they
was
are.
about to collapse down there.
Something like that. There were some big boys down there dancing to that song I was playing.
So nice pitch play there. Was that Diallo on the carryout?
It sure was. Diallo's going to wind up having 60 yards by the end of this game.
And a touchdown.
He plays the rest of the fourth quarter.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Already has one touchdown, as you alluded to, and 40 yards in that first series, and he probably has 15 to 20 yards in this series. So
we're going to try to get you some stats next time we do the Zionsville broadcast. I'd be interested to see if he doesn't get more carries as the year moves along.
Yeah, it would be very surprising. They do have that competent tandem between Colton Smith and Cole Went, so
a big play threat never hurts.
Absolutely not. And it seems like a lot of the plays they run with him are the outside plays, so he's probably got a lot of speed. Just have never heard of him, coming into this year. I don't remember him from last year's roster. I knew that last year, I think Jabri Irvin took most of the carries, and as he's tripped up, short of the first down, looks like it's going to be 4th and 1 from the 10-yard line. But
Jabri Irvin and
Reese Scope was the other running back who was playing last year. So Zionsville does like to do that dual running back tandem, and Zionsville looks like they're faced with a 4th and 1 decision time. Obviously, it's not a very impactful decision, but Zionsville will probably go for it and give it to number 35, Matt Pinola.
Yeah, 4th and 1 here for the Eagles at the Harrison 11. Motion man to the top of your screen. The handoff is to Pinola. He's got some room. And I think the ball, I would have said the ball crossed the plane, but I guess they have a better viewpoint from down there. They're going to call him down at the half-yard line, so Zionsville shouldn't have any trouble punching this one in.
Yeah, and that would have been his 3rd touchdown today.
Yeah, big game here.
Yeah,
if you're playing fantasy football, Matt Pinola would have been a nice...
Right. 6 foot, 200 pounds. Give him the ball. Let him get in there.
Yeah.
Give him his 3rd touchdown. You know, and at what point, obviously, you want to get your team out there and keep trying to press, but it's like...
I think Zionsville has... Yeah, there's no...
there we go.
I mean, you already put your second team out there. You're running the ball every time. At some point, just for our sake or the fans' sake, you got to keep playing.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to keep playing, and they're not they're not throwing long passes down the field.
No.
They're just running traps and dives for these running backs. And
I think that's more than I think what they're doing is just fine. I don't think there's any way you could get mad at that.
Yeah, absolutely not. It just shows how exploited this defense is and how much of the line of scrimmage Zionsville's able to control as the PAT is good. Zionsville goes up 54-6. So
they're going to be
55-6.
55-6, so leading by 7 touchdowns with 10 minutes left in the game. Zionsville's going to kick off once again, and you would think with the second team defense moving in the game for Zionsville that Harrison would have a chance to move the ball a little more, but fumbled it away on that last drive, and I'll be interested to see if they leave the first team in for Harrison. But I mean, they don't have much of a second team, like you said earlier. Their roster is a little bit shorter than Zionsville's. I would say, like you said, by about 3/4 of the team size Zionsville has.
Yeah, and as you look across their depth chart, a bunch of their guys are second stringers in probably 2 or 3 different positions. So, it's not a team where you can afford to have people get hurt and it's been a struggle for Harrison all day long, and you got to tip their hats off to these players for keep fighting and just keep playing. So it's a tough go out there.
And the up back takes it again, as they have been the last few kickoffs. And they return it. Harrison takes it out to about their own 27, 28-yard line, where their offense will take over. And I think that's been a good call, actually, just to squib it all day because the wind's been so bad. If you kick it out of bounds, that moves it up to about the 40, 45-yard line. I'm not sure which.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Zionsville, this is probably the most lopsided win I've seen in Zionsville in probably 5 or 10 years, as bad as they're winning. And it's naturally, like you said earlier, it's been a very natural victory for Zionsville. They're not trying to run the score up. They're just able to do what they want against this team. And even the second string have been in since halfway through the third quarter, and they've scored 3 touchdowns since then. So, of
their 8 touchdowns, I would say, 6 of them were on the ground?
Yeah, absolutely. I know that...
the only one I can remember off the top of my head being passed for was Avery Boxall down there.
Avery Boxall, also the very first touchdown from Parker Dunshee to
Wisniewski. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, it's been pretty much ground game.
Yeah, and no long touchdowns. All of them were inside of 20, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, yeah, I think Zionsville's offense has been methodical, and ideally, this is how you'd want it to go every game. Obviously, Zionsville still has to face a little tougher competition. Zionsville's going to end the season with quite a run, as I believe they still have to play Avon, Fishers, and Brownsburg.
Yeah, probably the 3 best teams in the conference, really.
Yeah. And they already lost. The game they dropped was to HSE, so Zionsville, you can enjoy this win, but you really got to kick it up these next 3 weeks.
Absolutely. It's it's gonna be a nice stretch, and if Zionsville, that's what I was alluding to earlier. Zionsville could be a contender in the playoffs if they can go on a little run and get some momentum, and we other than this game, we have yet to see Zionsville play a full entire game, mistake-free football, which Zionsville has the ability to do. And I think if they can do that with their defense and their talent, they can be a very scary team.
I thought Zionsville would air it out a little more this year after watching and broadcasting the games last year. And a nice hit. You got to wrap up, and he did. A very nice hit. Tackle behind the line of scrimmage there by the Zionsville defender. That number, God, from here it's either 20 or 30.
I think it's number 20, Brad Buckland.
Okay.
He's a 5'9", 175 junior, and that was a heck of a play. That's that play that Harrison's been liking to run. It's kind of a bubble screen, but it's delay. The quarterback sprints to one side after a play action and throws it out to the flat. And Buckland came up and made a nice hit, and as you alluded to, wrapped up and brought the receiver down.
7.5 minutes left to go in the game. Zionsville leads 55-6. Shotgun snap to Lasky. He looks downfield, doesn't have anyone. Quick pass to the sideline. Buckland tried to make another nice tackle, but I believe that was Cole Smith that slipped out of it and got pushed out of bounds after about a 1-yard gain. So he gets the yard they lost back and gains a yard. 3rd and long once again for the Harrison Raiders. 3rd and 9.
And as we've talked about all day, and it seems to be a common thread here in high school football, it's leaving yourself in 3rd and long. It makes it very, very difficult to pick up a first down. You really gotta air it out to get that opportunity. And as we alluded to earlier as well, first downs are so crucial. As this Harrison guy breaks a big one here.
Yeah, running back for Harrison still going. Finally tackled all the way down at the Zionsville 30. That was number 25, Daniel Wright for Harrison. So that was their biggest play of the game by far. Before
Absolutely.
that, I think the biggest play we were looking at was about a 14-yard run for a first down.
Yeah, by Brad Fuller. So that was Daniel Wright, sophomore, 5'7", 170. Small kid, but he's only sophomore, and obviously showed some speed and athleticism right there.
And 1st and 10, Harrison. Low snap picked up by Lasky as he decides to run it himself. Spins off a tackle. Slippery little guy. Good enough for a 9-yard run. Looks like he's close to the first down. And they're going to call it a first down. So first down, Harrison, 10-yard run there by the quarterback, Lasky.
And this is every bit of what we expected, as the first team offense of Harrison is in against the second team defense. We'd really expect that there'd be some movement with the ball and some success here, and it's good for us up here. It makes the clock run a little bit and makes the game go by a little bit faster in this fourth quarter as we try to keep you all entertained here. As looks like number 25, Daniel Wright, carries the ball on the right side for about 3 yards. Very nice tackle by, looks like that was number 58 for Zionsville, Michael Witter.
Michael Witter with a tackle right now. 77 for Zionsville. Checks into the ball game. That's Jake Chalfin.
He's a very big kid.
Yeah, he is. 5'11", 264. Only a sophomore, so can never underestimate the value of getting live varsity snaps at any point in the game for young guys.
Absolutely.
That goes a long way. At least it goes a long way to maybe, if nothing else, as Lasky looks downfield, pass interference. That's a good call as the Zionsville defender jumped on his back before the ball got there.
He sure did. The ball was, in fact, caught, though, so I think they're going to defer that penalty, and it's going to be a completion for Lasky. And not sure who the receiver was, but a good play nevertheless. And all of a sudden, Harrison has a chance to get one into the end zone before the end of this game again.
Yeah, Harrison trying to put one more score through before the end of the game. We're ticking down under the 5-minute mark as the play comes in. Yeah, getting some live snaps, like I was saying. if not for experience, then for nothing else, just maybe kind of calming the nerves. Once you get, especially as a younger guy, you're a sophomore, and I think it really kind of helps calm your nerves to get some varsity experience before you're forced to go out there full time.
Absolutely. As the fullback carries the ball, or excuse me, that was number 25, Daniel Wright, gets to about the 6-inch line. I really thought that they would just say touchdown, just to. But I guess the refs said it was not quite in there.
Yeah, but the ball's about as close as you can be to the goal line without crossing it, so I wouldn't expect to see much else than they're going to run out of the shotgun. I just feel like a quarterback sneak. It's a no-brainer here.
You're definitely in quarterback sneak territory, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, they're gonna hike it back 3 yards and pass the ball, and
great move.
Spun out of a tackle. Very nice move. And that was Cole Smith with the touchdown. We've called his name a few times tonight. So an unconventional play call down there on the 1-inch line, but put the ball in the end zone with 3:58 left. Harrison's offense is going to stay on the field and go for the 2-point conversion here. And in high school, you can choose which hash you want it on. They choose to have it on the left hash, so the one nearest the Zionsville sideline. And Lasky is awaiting the snap from the shotgun. Lasky sprints right. He's got a man open, and the ball is caught, so the 2-point conversion is good. Zionsville leads 55-14 with just under 4 minutes left to go in the game. And I think if Zionsville has it their way, this will be the last possession of the game, as I have a feeling they're gonna try to run the clock out as far as they can.
I would certainly expect so, and I bet this is time where the third string even comes in. And I just noticed something down on the sideline, a red hat on the sideline of Zionsville. Coach McWhorter is on the sidelines, which is a very rare thing for Zionsville. I think he's been down there since the start of the fourth quarter. Coach Mack likes to watch the games and coach from above the press box. Actually, they call it the Eagle's Nest.
You get a little bit of. I could see where you get a better vantage point.
Absolutely, and it's just not it's not a big common thing for him to be down there. And we were talking to one of the coaches yesterday, and he had never seen it. Coach Andrews said he had never seen Coach Mack down there this year or last year. And I remember one time when we were in high school, he was down on the field with us, and it kind of, you step up your manners on the sideline a little bit. You kind of perk up and pay more attention
I
to
didn't
detail.
say anything earlier, but I thought the sideline looked a little too loose, maybe.
Yeah.
Guys dancing, celebrating. I wasn't a big fan of it, so maybe Coach Mack's presence. The thing is, his presence shouldn't matter. They should conduct themselves that way. What was the big slogan we always had when we were at Zionsville? The it's what you do when nobody's watching kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, I noticed that earlier. I thought it was a little too loose on the sideline, at least for Zionsville standards.
Yeah, and Coach Mack preaches so much about paying attention to detail, and
well, you can get mental reps right now.
Yeah,
you can be out there watching the game and getting mental reps, and instead, you're hanging out on the bench and dancing around. I don't know. I think that you should watch your teammates who you practice with every day and watch them. Well, I mean, as they said, was it Steve Smith with the Carolina Panthers got into it with Cam Newton the other day and said, these guys that are your backups watch you play all the time. Go watch them play as well.
Yeah, but it's being up 55-14, it's hard not to lose that focus and have more fun with it, and being 16, 17, and 18 years old on the sideline of a football game, I can understand where that concentration can break pretty easily.
Nonetheless, Zionsville's offense takes over, 3:46 remaining in the game. The handoff now is to number 24. Nice run there by Joe Eindhurst as his legs keep churning after he was hit after a short gain, but was able to make it. Let's see, about a 5-yard gain, so a nice run there, 4 or 5 yards for Joe Eindhurst.
And it looks like there's a new quarterback in the game, number 16. That's Nolan Spear, sophomore, 5'11", 142 pounds. And so it looks like, some of the third string is in there. But I just imagine you get a lot of dosage of Joe Eindhurst here and maybe some of the fullback.
And the handoff, no, it's going to be a boot to the right. And he can't find any room, so he just throws it to the... Okay.
They call it incomplete.
Now, that's going to be something that I know Nolan Spear is going to I guess, kind of look at. I'm sure his dad is defensive coordinator for Zionsville. That's Gil Spear. And that's one of those things where you just throw it out of bounds, you know?
Yeah, or just tuck it and run, it's third string, get a few yards and move on with the next play. But tried to force a little shovel pass to a running back who wasn't even looking at him, and it actually wound up in the hands of a Harrison defender. Unfortunately, or fortunately for Zionsville, that is, the ball hit the ground as an incomplete pass. So,
and that's why these times are valuable. You know, maybe he'll learn that's a lesson he'll learn right there, and probably carry with him when he's, seeing a little more meaningful playing time in the future.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. As Zionsville lines up, tight into the right side, receivers both left and right in an I formation.
And they're taking the play clock down to 5 seconds as the fullback gets the handoff. Could not see who was in at fullback on that play.
Yeah, it looks like number 36 is the fullback, and that would be James Dupler.
Okay, yeah, we have two 36s. The one listed as a running back is Kevin Claps.
Oh, excuse me, yeah.
But I don't know. Actually,
that's probably right. He is listed as a running back. The other guy is listed as a defensive back. So
yeah. Either way, 36 got the handoff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll just do that.
2:22 remaining in the game. Zionsville taking their time. 3rd down and 9 yards to go. We'll probably still just see a run here.
This is maybe just me being...
And it's fumbled.
Fumbled. I'm pretty sure that was 4th down because we had the run with Einters for 5 yards. Then we had the almost interception by Nolan Spear. Then that play right back there. That should have been 4th and 9. So the refs wanted to give Zionsville one more down, I guess. That was... Either way, it was a fumble and Harrison recovered, but...
Harrison recovered the ball as the pitch was fumbled. It was between Nolan Spear and I couldn't see who the running back was there. Maybe Joe Einhurst and Nolan Spear. Pitch to the right-hand side was dropped. The fumble was not forced by any Harrison defender, but it was recovered by Harrison. So they'll get a chance to add to their tally here with their starting offensive unit still in the game. Handoff again to number 25, who broke the big run earlier for Harrison. That is Daniel Wright. 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining in the ball game. Clock is ticking. 55-14, the Eagles lead. Eagles have led for the entirety of this game. They went up 27-0 real quick, and then
before the first quarter was over, it was 27-0. Yeah, absolutely.
Gave up a touchdown before half, and came out here and poured it on in the second half pretty easily. And a broken play there. A nice tackle, way to break down back behind the line of scrimmage and not let Lasky get loose. That was number 51. I'm sorry, Mike Luce, 6 foot, 193-pound sophomore. So
didn't let Lasky get loose, so Mike Luce got the sack right there. I guess you can credit that as a sack. Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, you didn't know when you tuned into our broadcast we were going to get grade A comedians as well.
Yeah, that
was a great one.
It's kind of a play on words that just kind of fell apart.
That was a play on words. I loved it.
Thank you.
I loved it, partner.
Thank you.
3rd and 5 here for Harrison. The handoff it's kept by Lasky around the left-hand side. Tries to cut back and is finally brought down after he gets about a 20-yard gain on the play. Down at about the 15-yard line, he was pushed out of bounds. 37 seconds remain in this game as Harrison's still pushing to get one more score, and I don't blame them after they've had a really rough go at it this year, and I'm sure it feels good to get in the end zone whenever you can.
Yeah, I think 55-21 feels a little bit better than 55-14. Not a lot better, but and even those against the second and third team of Zionsville. But as Zionsville moves forward, you have to pay more attention to detail, and had a lot of success. Obviously, our offensive drives were really dependent on the defensive stops. Great
Another
tackle right
sack.
there. That was awesome tackle right there. Looks like that was number 9 for Zionsville, Ben Necht. He's a sophomore, 5'9", 148, shoestring tackle, but he just tackled probably their best receiver in the open field, number 15, Cole Smith. So, very good job. And as we keep alluding to, this experience that these second and third string teams are getting just says a lot for them and does a lot for their psyche going into the future.
And another run up the middle as this game ends and the band sounds. Harrison 14, Zionsville 55 from here in Zionsville, Indiana, as the Eagles move to 5-1. Harrison drops to 0-6 on the year. And we'll be back next week. We'll be in Lafayette doing the Lafayette Jefferson Avon game. So signing off for now. He is Alex.
I'm Alex.
I am Aaron. And this is AudioSportsOnline.com.
And go Irish.
Yes, sir.